Agatha All Along Season 1 Episode 1 began with a young woman named Agnes driving to a crime scene that had just happened. She got to her destination, and her colleagues are surprised that she is available for such investigation. However, Agnes gets brief on what had happened on the crime scene, as it seems the cause of the victim death from their investigation they have done so far was as a result of a blunt force trauma and was crushed by something very huge and heavy. Agnes walked towards the body and got really upset by what she had just seen. She went on to do more digging and found something that looked a mysterious button. She also angrily left the scene as she must find identity of the victims. Anyways, few moments later, Agnes goes to a bookstore to investigate more about a book card she got from the crime scene along with the tag she found, but was told that they don't use cards anymore, as now everything is digital now. After much pressure from Agatha, the receptionist agreed to search the QR code on their system, only to inform Agatha that that particular book wasn't checked out and was even stolen from their store 3 years ago. She went into the library for further investigation and was shocked by what she had seen as the books are now burnt. Just then, they found a weird-looking man staring at her. She asked the weird-looking man if everything was destroyed, to which he replied back saying every last one of them. She heads straight to Westview Police Department, her workplace. Inside her office, Agnes gets informed by her chief that the soil samples from under the fingernails and toenails of the victim came out, but they didn't match the soil she was lying in. Agnes believes she was moved to that location. However, Agnes gets introduced to a new colleague named Rio Vidal. But she isn't happy by this as Agnes believes she want to take over her investigation. They both discussed about the mysterious body they found. Agnes continued her investigation about the tag she found on the crime scene and was shocked by what she found inside it. At night, she investigates deep to find more clue and information, but just then, her chief walked in insisting that Agnes leave the office and get some rest. Agnes did just that, but as soon as she got home, a few moments later, Rio Vidal then came by to visit and help her with the case. Agnes and her partner discuss about how possible it was that they moved the victim to that particular location. All of a sudden, Agnes heard a noise and immediately went to check it out only to find a thief trying to steal from her, and a chase ensues, but during this chase, the young man got hit by a vehicle, making it easy for Agnes to apprehend and arrest him. She took him to the investigation room to question him regarding what he was looking for in her house. He informed her that he was looking for the road, but Agnes does not understand any of this. She began to question him about the body she found earlier by showing him the pictures of the victim, but just then, she got informed by the young man that they are just picture of flowers, and to her surprise, it looked like the pictures had changed. Even the room she was in had changed. The young man began to chant some words. However, this made her furious as she handcuffed him. Agnes went into her vehicle and head back to where the victim body was kept, only to find everything more confusing. This made her very uncomfortable as she began removing all her clothes as her partner kept on tormenting her. The scene then shifted to Agnes at home and waking without a clothes. Agnes goes outside to go question her neighbor about how long she has been in her home, only for her to be told 3 years now. She immediately went home back as now she is really fed up by all this happening to her. Few moments later, she heard a noise of someone struggling and immediately went to check it out. Agatha found the young teen from earlier, but immediately got blast from Rio Vidal, and a battle ensues between them as Rio Vidal seemed to be very much powerful. Just as she was about to finish Agatha, who now does not have power, Agatha pleaded they battle this later, once she got her powers back, to which Rio Vidal agreed to. Meanwhile, Agatha prepared to head out, but just then, the young boy pleaded to Agatha to take him to the Witch's Road, as the road will give anyone anything they wished for as long as they could make it to the end, but Agatha does not feel this would be a good idea as he is still an amateur. He told her about how he admires her, and it was because of this particular reason he went to break her free from the spell SCARLET which had placed on her. He went on to tell her about the reason why he really need to go with her to the Witch's Road, as he already had all it take besides the powers needed, and this was what Agatha also want for herself. Agatha is adamant that the road will kill a kid like him, but he retorts that it didn't kill her when she walked it. Plus, he points out, the Salem 7 seem pretty scary. Agatha demands to know who this kid is, but every time teen tries to say his name, his mouth disappears, a strange symbol appearing over it. Just then, Agatha agreed that he can come with her only if he will drive, which he obviously agreed to. They both head to their first witchy person on their list, Lilia Calderu, a divination who was chased out of every village she passed through for accurately predicting tragedy. She now makes a meager living as a psychic. Agatha beckons her to join her on the witch's road so she can restock her power, and Lilia tells her she's out of her mind. There's no way she's joining the coven of the single most infamous witch on the planet, especially when she knows Agatha can steal her power. Agatha lets her in on her little secret as this moment. She can't steal power unless the person she's stealing from blasts her with it. Lilia is still uninterested, getting a vision of a Three of Pentacles and giving Agatha a list of names she can use to complete her coven so long as she leaves her alone. The problem here is her name happens to be on the list, and she keeps having debilitating visions. She gave her an address where they would be. The two head straight to the second in their list, which is Jennifer Kale, a high priestess who specializes in potions and has been magically bound for the past century. Just as she is busy attending to her business, Agatha comes in yelling about jade eggs. As it turned out, Agatha also has beef with her. Jennifer is also highly uninterested in her Witch's Road proposal, stating she doesn't care about that dusty, warty community. However, when Agatha's failed her attempts to recruit Jennifer Kale, Teen approached her with some of impressive manipulation skills of his own, which fortunately worked as he told her that he's a huge fan of hers on Instagram. Also, he's really sorry to hear about the serious legal trouble she's found herself in for committing fraud and giving people superficial burns with her products. Agatha seems to be a bit impressed by the teenager's skill in manipulating someone. The two went out to eat, and they both had a conversation about who their next witch on the list is. After their conversation, they head straight to meet Alice Wu Gulliver, who is a blood witch, meaning she's the child of a witch, one who happens to be famous goddess of rock Lorna Wu. They got her fired from her job and tried telling about the road, but she does not believe it is real. However, and there's a little bit of curiosity gleaming in her, tempting her to agree when Agatha promises she can find out what really happened to her mom if she joins them. They began to prepare for their meeting. All the witches show at Agatha's house, but there is one thing missing: their green witch. Agatha tries hard to play this off, but the rest of the coven is adamant as earth magic is arguably the most important skill set to conquer the road. Agatha pretends this must stand for Mrs. Hart and invites the poor, clueless woman to a party as she's working in her garden. Mrs. Hart says she would absolutely love to attend her get-together. Meanwhile, at the basement, they began to attempt to conjure the road by holding hands and singing the ballad. Meanwhile, outside they got some visitors approaching Agatha home. However, whatever they were doing does not seem to work as nothing is opening when it's supposed to. The show of sisterhood quickly began to blame each other as she called Lilia a coward, Jennifer a fraud, and Alice a disappointment. Lilia puts the pieces together and realizes Agatha has lured them down there as bait, trying to make them so unitedly angry they'll manage to blast her with magic she can steal. As a fight was about to ensue between them, the door to the Witch's Road finally opens and Teen, who's upstairs, gets dangerously close to being killed by the Salem 7 while protecting Senor Scratchy. He heads straight down into the road and giving the fact there is nowhere to run to. The remaining witches followed him, including Agatha. On her way down, she is surprised by what she had found, as everyone is also surprised. They all went into the road afterwards, and then, the episode 2 of Agatha All Along Season 1 then came to an end. The remaining episodes would be available next week Friday as soon as it drops. Kindly do well by subscribing to get updated on the show. Goodbye and thanks for watching.